Hey guys, are you heading to Australia soon? Well, let's talk about how much you need to budget. Welcome back guys. Today we're going to talk about one of my favorite places to travel in the world, Australia. Now off the back of my 2017 video on how much to budget for a month in Australia, I thought I'd do a bit of an update because it's 2019, everything's 2 years old, there's some new changes for transport options, there's been some price changes as well, and I thought I'd throw a few more things in the mix to help you prepare even better. So yeah, let's get started. First off, let's talk about transport. Now with over 2,400 kilometers to cover between Sydney and Cairns, there is a big distance and it is going to be one of your bigger costs. Now the most popular way to travel up the coast is still the Greyhound point to point, and your Sydney to Cairns pass will now set you back 469 Aussie dollars. Now Greyhound have also released a new product as well called the Wimit Pass, which is only limited by the timescale that you buy it for. So if you're spending 30 days covering Sydney to Cairns or Cairns to Sydney, you can pick up that pass for 399 Aussie dollars. So if you are going for just the month, that does work out the better value. Now the other major thing you need to consider is where you're going to be staying. Now a hostel dorm in Australia will set you back anywhere between 25 and 50 Aussie dollars per night. This does vary a lot though depending on where you're staying and also the season. So if you're staying somewhere, for example Mission Beach in the off season, it's going to be a lot cheaper than say Sydney over Christmas and New Year where you'd be paying a big premium. So do your research guys on the time of year you're traveling so you can weigh up how much that's going to cost you. And then who could forget about food and drink? Now obviously if you're going to be backpacker and keep it massive budget, 50 cents for a packet of instant noodles, you're not going to go wrong. You can also smash together some veggie pasta yourself in the hostel kitchen. That'll cost you around about $3.50. Also keep a lookout for some awesome backpacker meal deals. So places like Cheeky Monkeys in Byron Bay do a $5 backpacker meal. Places like Wake Up in Sydney also have some awesome deals. And there's a lot of other hostels up the coast and restaurants and bars that do some awesome deals. Now for drinking wise, if you're going to be drinking in a bar, expect to pay between $5 to $8 for a beer. Or if you're drinking from a bottle shop, it'd be about $5 per beer. So we've covered your transport, we've covered your accommodation. Now let's talk about the fun stuff you'll be spending some money on, your tours. Now I'm just going to quickly run through some of the top tours along the East Coast so you can get an idea of how much you'll be spending on each item. Surf lesson, that'll set you back 69 bucks. Dolphin kayaking, also $69. Open water dive course, 695 bucks. Now you can do that in both Byron Bay and Cairns, which would be my top picks. Fraser Island, which is one of my overall favorite tours on the whole of the East Coast, is $469. Or you can do it for 510 Aussie dollars, and that will include one night pre and post trip. Overnight Whitsunday sailing adventure, 499 bucks. I highly recommend Tongara for that one. Tandem skydive, do it, it's awesome, $275. Now the Great Barrier Reef, you've got a few options here. Barrier Reef snorkel tour, $140. If you're already a certified diver, $210, including 2 dives. Or if you want to give diving a try for the first time, an intro dive is also $210. So let's get to the bottom line. How much will you be spending for a month traveling the east coast of Australia? Now, based on my calculations of what the average backpacker gets up to between Sydney and Cairns, including your accommodation, transport, and main tours, and also some food and drink, you're going to need to be budgeting roughly 3,270 Aussie dollars for the month, which works out about 109 bucks per day. Now, obviously, you can spend a lot less if you stay in cheaper hostels, cook cheaper meals, and don't drink. Or obviously, you can spend a hell of a lot more if you go for private rooms, smaller dorms, or pack in a lot more tours up the coast. But that $3,270 is a good starting point for an epic time up the coast. Now, if you guys want a more detailed breakdown of costs, hit the link in the description for my full Australia budget post. And also on my blog, you'll find heaps of tips and advice from all my time living, working, and traveling in Australia. And if you are heading to Australia soon, also check out the crew from RTW Backpackers, who have an epic range of trips and tours across Australia. They also specialize in custom East Coast package deals. So fill in their form, get a quote, and they'll save you heaps of money. Again, there's links in the description for all of that, so go check them out. There's my 2019 Australia budget update. If you guys have any questions about traveling to Australia, chuck them in the comments below and I'll respond. And of course, check out all the links in my description for helpful blog posts on budgets and traveling in Australia in general. As always, make sure you like, comment, subscribe on YouTube, and I'll see you next time.